Yan, magus swerte yan, Sid. What's that? Okay, but can you guys help me to find, no? Alex? Okay. The real tank is already found.
You two have quite a unique way of talking.
The Defense Force, or rather, Obel Squad's comms channel, also seems to be tuned to a pretty unusual frequency.
Birds of a feather flock together, as they say.
The proxy wasn't complimenting us, Soldier 11. You dummy.
Wavelength? Are Seed and Soldier 11 intelligent constructs?
Still, winning over these girls might be easy. But as the commanding officer, I have to assess you with the utmost... All right, everyone, that's enough chit-chat. Let's not forget, we're still in the middle of a battlefield here. Although we've tracked down the Exaltist, we came up empty on both the location of the Exaltist's communication outpost. It seems Exaltist's main base, and the research data you were looking for, Proxy.
The most efficient way to move such a large amount of supplies in a short time would be through spatial fissures. The Exaltists have been operating in Lemnian Hollow for a long time. They must have access to fissure coordinates unknown to the Defense Force. But no one knows the labyrinths of hollows better than Phaethon.
Phaethon's scales are like magic. Sounds way more impressive than a carrot.
Sounds pretty mysterious. Anyway, you're confident you can catch up with them, right?
I got this. Inside those devices, those are all sacrifices?
Seed, confirm the number of enemies.
Locking onto hostile targets. There's 8 in total. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 0. Now we're all clear.
Obel Squad. All enemies eliminated.
The rambling old man is a little Seed's trophy.
The final sacrifice. How can swirling dust compete with a blade?
Do all the Exaltists talk like this?
Seed, make him shut up.
Foolish!
Hey, Seed Senior, you've got to be careful with how...
They've done more than enough harm.
What sets these Exaltists apart from typical villains is their fanatical devotion to the Creator, which often even if they act in the shadows without rhyme or reason, the miasma remains essential to them. If we follow that trail, it could very well be the weakness that brings...
These so-called fanatics are nothing more than villains who treat ether as a deadly poison corrupting new Eridu, aiding and abetting its destruction. Let's see if they stay so devoted when confronted with 50 caliber high explosive rounds and military-grade high-energy lasers!
Calm down, Captain Magus. As vile as the Exaltists are, not every member is guilty. many innocent civilians were deceived into joining. In other words, not every Exaltis member deserves to be met with 50 caliber high explosive rounds and military-grade high-energy lasers.
We've hardly caught anyone yet, and you're already defending them? I know how to throw around grand quotes too. Like no snowflake in an avalanche ever feels responsible. You're awfully sympathetic towards these scumbags. Perhaps because you're one of them?
Enough! Captain Magus, I'm pretty sure your remarks have already exceeded the boundaries set by Commander Isolde's temporary protocol for addressing Phaethon, specifically the section designated for Magus.
Huh? How come no one told me about it?
Don't speak harshly to your squad mates, and don't say anything that kills morale. That's what you taught us, Captain Magus.
I don't consider them a comrade. At least not yet.
Whether we're allies who can rely on each other or simply partners with our own suspicions, let's stick to our duties, Captain Magus.
Wouldn't have it any other way, Phaethon.
There's a critical piece of intel that needs immediate attention. What just emerged from the Obscura is a bioweapon created by the Exaltists, known as a sacrifice. These Obscura, and the factories that produce them, are scattered throughout Lemnian Hollow.
No, not just Lemnian Hollow. According to the data from Porcelumex and the intel Commander Isolde has gathered, there are a large number of Obscura placed throughout Waifei Peninsula. Over 300 of them.
Over 300? Not even the entire Obsidian Division could deal with that many monsters.
The entire Obsidian Division would just end up as monster food.
We have to get this information to Command immediately. The Exaltists' actions may be far more dangerous than we had anticipated.
No, that's not right. Although I did come across Obscura shards tainted with sacrifice energy, there's still no solid evidence to confirm that all Obscura have sacrifices in them. The Obscura devices I saw in Phylum Heights, more importantly, creating a creature as powerful as the sacrifices would require an unimaginable amount of
Or they would have destroyed New Eridu.
Phew. Good thing the bad guys we're dealing with this time aren't that powerful. Yet.
Hey, did you two completely forget that courage is a soldier's greatest virtue?
Captain, didn't you say that kind of talk is just something generals say to sound impressive?
The proxy has a point, but there's definitely something suspicious about the Obscura and Waifei Peninsula. Obsidian Division has already mobilized outside Lemnian Hollow.
A fanatic's last stand is often the most ferocious.
After spending over a decade in the military...
What Captain Magus meant to say was, thanks for the heads up,
That's not what I meant! All in all, the scouting mission was a success. Oboe Squad took no casualties. It's honestly baffling how HSO and public security got completely outplayed by the Exaltists. Their actions are chaotic and like...
The proxy was amazing too. Just like Trigger and Soldier 11 said.
Huh? Orphe, since when have you been visiting sketchy sites like Internaut behind my back?
Help!
Calm down, Captain Magus. What you've dealt with so far are just the Exaltis' scattered remnants.
I know. We already have the hollow coordinates for the Exaltus base. I'm not worried about a head-on clash. What worries me are those Obscura and the sacrifice creatures.
Leave the search for the Obscura to me and the city forces. You focus on the mission. You can't just grasp at weeds. You have to dig out the roots. By the way, Proxy, I heard your performance in the Hollow was top-notch as always. How's working with Obel? Has Captain Magus been giving you any trouble?
I'll have to think about that. I do remember Captain Magus saying that Phaethon is a villain who should be dealt with using 50 caliber high explosive rounds and military-grade high-energy lasers.
Don't go taking things out of context to make me look like the bad guy. I'm a straight shooter.
Got it. Looks like the temporary protocol for addressing Phaethon doesn't really hold much sway over Captain Magus.
It's all because I wasn't decisive enough. Please don't punish Captain Magus.
She's not the most soft-spoken, but Captain Magus and the squad have been doing their best to support me, and her military-grade high-energy laser is definitely reassuring.
All right. Without the proxy support.
Whew. I guess this is the part where hold grudge.
But if you're that talented, why settle for the dishonorable role of a proxy?
What's so dishonorable about it? The work we do in the shadows brings us closer to the light than many of those who stand in it.
You're being a little harsh today, Captain.
Proxy. How many unqualified civilians have you led straight into danger within the Hollows? And
You're right, Captain Magus. The underworld does have its dark side, but a lot of people are forced into it. And this grand, respectable world you speak of, is it really filled with nothing but righteous heroes?
you...
All right, kids, enough bickering. The only villain here is the grumpy old Isolde. You're all brave, shining hero.
Looks like the captain got shut down by
Even the proxy's been lumped in with the kids. Looks like we're all in the same class now.
This concludes the briefing. Proxy, Major General Lorenz has expressed interest.
The Major General wants to see me?
Relax. I'll be with...
Sir, your guest.
Colonel Isolde, I heard that, Obel Squad has already obtained the coordinates of the Exaltist headquarters.
That's correct, sir. The recon operation was a success. However, we also discovered something unexpected.
You can handle the specifics with your squad. You know I've always counted on you. Just make sure I get results.
Yes, sir.
Among all the mediocrity in the Obsidian division, Isolde, you're the one who someone like you shouldn't be stuck on the front lines. I'm pragmatic, but I always this is a big opportunity. But I went to great lengths to get troops into Yfei Peninsula. So this mission is one we cannot afford to fail.
Yes, sir.
Ah, I seem to have forgotten about our guest. Isolde, the person beside you.
This is the officially appointed Hollow Technical Advisor and the Mayor's Special Envoy for Military Operation, Wise.
Welcome to Yfei Peninsula, Ambassador Wise.
I've been in Yfei Peninsula for a while now. Honestly, it's more appropriate for me and Swabian Temple to be the ones welcoming the Defense Force.
Swabian Temple? Ah, Yunque Summit. Pardon my memory, I nearly forgot our guest works directly under Mayor Mayflower. Mind filling me in, Colonel Isolde? Why is one of the mayor's personal agents, an infamous proxy, getting involved in Defense Force business?
Wise was appointed by the city as a technical advisor and envoy for Mayor Mayflower, sir. He's here to assist and oversee the Defense Force's operation.
Assist, huh? If the High Preceptor of Yunquay Summit had shown up in person, perhaps I'd consider that worthy. And as for the supervision, since when does Mayflower get a say in when Obsidian Division pulls the trigger?
Sir, Wise is only here to assist Obel Squad. This has nothing to do with the main force's operations or command. All part of the agreement to keep the City Council from meddling with our military affairs in Waifei Peninsula. Which, I imagine, suits you just fine?
Of course. Your arrangements are always right on point, Colonel. This whole operation is running smoothly, thanks to you. Well then, since you're the Hollow experts and personally by the Mayor, unfortunately, military secrecy is of utmost importance. So I'm afraid I can't escort Wise. Colonel Isolde? Until this operation is over, all of Wise's external communications and movements beyond Phi Loop.
That's a very unique way to treat a guest.
Major General, the Mayor and Yunquay Summit...
That's an order.
Yes, sir.
The people from Porcelumix are still waiting for me in Phylum Heights. Something about a banquet to welcome the Defense Force to Waifei Peninsula. I'm afraid I won't be able to personally entertain our...
Let's go, Mr. Ambassador.
Motherfucker.
Captain! Proxy made it through the interrogation unscathed.
No significant change in pulse, and your face isn't too pale. You look so frail, Proxy. Who would have thought you had the makings of a soldier tough enough to endure enemy torture?
Since you already see me as a villain, it's only natural I've learned how to avoid torture.
The Major General may be tough to deal with, but interrogating the Mayor's envoy? That kind of thing doesn't happen in the Obsidian Division.
Temporarily restricting the proxy's movements and communications. What does that mean?
It means we've got your precious Phaethon locked away. No way out, and no texting or calling family.
That's just... so...
That's terrible!
That's just... so...
What a shame. I never thought the legendary proxy Phaethon would end up getting caught one day.
On the plus side, at least the legendary proxy Phaethon was caught by Obel Squad. The Major General's idea of hospitality might be questionable, but for a soldier, orders are orders.
So, as much as we regret it, the legendary proxy Phaethon will have to stay put in Phylum Heights for a while.
You sure you're sorry, Captain? I'm pretty sure you were holding back a laugh just now.
Don't worry. Obel Squad and the Obsidian Division are the first line of defense against the Hollows. We'll wipe out the Exaltists faster than you'd think.
And then the proxy will be free.
As ordered, a technician will now attach a tracker to the proxy and temporarily block all communication functions of their electronics. My apologies, Proxy.
For the Obsidian Division, orders carry more weight than mountains. I don't like restricting someone's freedom like this. And I'm not exactly your biggest fan. But I hope you won't...
I may not be a soldier, but I can understand the weight orders carry for all of you. If temporarily restricting my freedom helps the operation go smoothly and keeps the people of Waifei Peninsula safe, I'll gladly go along with it.
I never thought you'd show... Don't worry. I'll keep an eye on you while you're with us.
Captain Magus keeping an eye on you? Just a heads up, she's not exactly the caring type.
Once again, Proxy, you...
Huh?
As Master's supreme assistant and a thoughtful, all-purpose AI, I would never sit back helplessly while Master's free-
Fairy, you really can't stop chasing that first assistant title, can you? When will you finally understand that as his sibling, I'm irreplaceable?
Alright, you two, enough arguing. I'm just a pitiful, useless captured proxy here, while you two are elite hackers, okay?
Negative. Although Master was unfortunately captured, Master remains an elite hacking expert.
Save your useless sympathy, First Assistant. Luckily, not even the Hollows can interfere with the HDD's unique signal, so the Defense Force's jamming is barely an inconvenience.
Still, I was the one who actually encoded the anti-jamming signal.
Which means Wise can still reach me through the HDD, and EOS's deep dive can continue as planned.
I saw some new data with my eye implants in the Hollow. And whether or not the military's info checks out, nothing is more trustworthy than your calculations, Fairy.
Affirmative. Additionally, I've made a full copy of the military intel files that EOS and Master saw.
If the Defense Force comes knocking because you did something without permission, make sure they know Second Assistant and your Master had nothing to do with it. Anyway, leave the rest to me and Fairy Wise, just like always.
Then leave clearing out the Hollow to me and Opal Squad, just like always.
The Defense Force's mission is bound to be dangerous. Be careful, Wise.
What this is?
All units be advised. At 3 o'clock, 300 meters. A cluster of miasma. Ethereal presence confirmed. Something's off. Are those humans coming out of there? Hey, look! Someone's crawling out of the miasma. Why are they wearing defense? They're coming closer. We're under attack! Fight back! Enemy spotted at 3. Oh, is it the Exaltis troops in disguise? No, they emerged from the miasma. They're definitely not alive. What the are we seeing the dead in broad daylight? Ethereal or monster, just take them down. Reporting in. We've got casualties. We've got another wave of hostiles closing in on the right. We need backup.
Damn.
It's just as the Overseer said. Even a miracle like...
Don't let joy blind you, my dear brother. Until we stand before the Creator.
Don't worry. My joy hasn't clouded my judgment, and my knowledge, the large-scale miasma activation experiment has already begun ahead of schedule.
The Exaltists have already figured out that we're launching a full... So far, only Obel Squad's scouting mission involved direct combat. What that recon team ran into was likely just an unfortunate... But your operation was flawless, and no part of the plan was leaked. That means either the Exaltists are more perceptive than we thought, or some unit acted outside my command and carried out...
But Lorenz handed over command of this operation to you.
So if we rule out interference from higher up, the only one who could have mobilized...
Only the Major General himself...
Looks like Colonel Isolde has it even tougher than I do when it comes to dealing with a demanding superior.
Orphe, you don't actually think I'm that difficult to deal with, do you?
At this point, arguing with my superior won't do any good.
So if we want the raid to stay on track, we'll have to strike even faster.
While I usually think you're a little too reckless, Magus, this time, I agree with you. Swift as the wind, fierce as fire, and unknowable as shadow. That's the essence of Blitz tactics. At least according to a Yunque Summit scroll. Since the enemy already knows we're coming, let's seize this rare opportunity and strike before they're ready.
Obel Squad, gear up!
Yes, Captain Magus!
I'm about to start deploying troops to launch the offensive. Proxy, both the battlefield... We aren't as ready as we could have been. The Obsidian Division will handle the battlefield, but when it comes to the...
Leave it to me. On my reputation as a legendary proxy, and my honor as the mayor's envoy, I won't let you... I'm counting on all of you, too. Please don't betray the trust that people have...
Save it. We're well aware.
What the captain means is, Obel never fails a mission.
The unexpected deployment of forces beyond Isolde's plan has put the Exaltists on... We can't risk the Exaltist core members escaping right under our noses.
Based on the intelligence we have, the target's stronghold in this...
I'm not usually one to spoil the mood, but from what I've seen of the Exaltists, they're not that easy to pin down.
You really know your way around intelligence and information warfare, Proxy. But I understand your concerns, but I've no...
Captain Magus, you sure have a...
That's because Captain Magus and Commander Isolde were
Technically, fighting side by side isn't exact... But yes, Isolde and I go way back. In fact, Obel Squad itself wouldn't exist If I can't trust Isolde, then there might not be anyone left in Obsidian Division.
I understand. So please believe me. When I'm acting as your proxy...
The Defense Force people are here.
Yeah. Who goes there? Petty thugs, blocking the way to the Creator.
The Creator will not forgive them.
Our sacrifice will pave the way for our master's return.
Initiate rush attack.
Adjusting for wind.
Oops, I can't really control my strength.
Unleashing maximum firepower! What the?
Which unit are you in? According to Commander Isolde's orders, aside from Obel's squad...
Isolde may be the acting commander for this op, but our squad reports to Major General...
So, these idiots are the ones who alerted the Exaltis to our plan. And
mind your tone. The Major General sent us because he was worried you wouldn't be able to handle this alone. We're here to support the operation.
Support the operation? We were just out there fighting alone as a single squad.
That's right. And we really do appreciate it. Without you taking the brunt of the Exaltist's attention, we have to apologize. We accidentally beat you to it and ended up taking...
Flat it? That's meaningless. Is this really the attitude of new recruits in Obsidian Division these...
Acting all high and mighty. You're just a gun. I may be a rookie, but at least I'm not a...
Watch it! The captain has given everything to...
It's okay, as long as they really did take out the Exaltists, and they've helped safeguard new air...
Even among comrades, there are plenty of annoying ones. If you ask me, we should just take this guy away and cover it up as an accident caused by an Exaltist attack.
Hey, are you...
Stay focused, soldier. Answer me.
Several preachers took advantage of the chaos to escape. We had other orders to carry out, so we didn't have time to pursue them.
Other orders? What could be more...
Bunch of fools. They can't even handle something this simple. Obel soldiers, let's move out. Once again, Obel. Gear...
Yes, Captain The Exaltists are fleeing in all directions!
Second-rate troops sure are surprisingly good at messing things up. Who would ever call this an ambush? We've already failed half of the mission's objective.
Hopefully we can still find some useful documents and materials. Oh? Elite targets have appeared.
Elite targets. Just the kind of fight Obel's been waiting for.
Everything is moving along smoothly, Mr. Lucro.
We'll be counting on you again this time.
Major General Lorenz, you're here in the Hollow.
You're the squad Isolde spoke so highly of. This is quite a surprise. You arrived even faster than I expected.
Given that you're leading this entire operation, I'd expect you to be at the command.
You must be Mr. Lucro. We met briefly at the reception banquet for the Porcelumex safety inspection.
A reception banquet? For us.
This, gun certainly has a blunt matter of speech. Ah, we are acquainted from the banquet, aren't we? Also involved with the Obsidian Division, I see. For someone so...
Not so, Mr. Lucro. This gentleman is the mayor's envoy. Special...
I'm just doing my duty. Please. The title of envoy is a bit too much. I feel like it's a little too high and mighty.
So you're a distinguished guest from city administration. My apologies. Please excuse the poor welcome.
So, what brings you here, Major General? Mr. Lucro?
My troops and I have our reasons for being here. You're a veteran, Captain Magus. Even if you don't fully grasp what overstepping means, you should at least mind your tongue, Captain. After all, besides your sharp tongue, there's not much else you have.
Major General, shouldn't we be going? Staying too long in areas with high ether activity isn't good for my health.
You're right, Mr. Lucro.
Aside from that clerk I met at the Special Military Affairs desk, these are honestly the two most annoying— Sorry, Captain Magus. It was wrong of me to speak disrespectfully.
I'll let it slide this time, Orphe. If I weren't afraid of getting you all tried at a military tribunal, I'd have turned every curse word into high-energy laser blasts right at their face.
This place is not only a key Exaltist stronghold. Porcelumex's other executive had previously worked with the Exaltists. Many of their— And now under Lucro's lead, Porcelumex has formed ties with the defense force.
You're making my head spin. Isn't it just those two plotting how to profit?
Goodness! Commander Lorenz is such—
Orphe is still caught up in that naive teenage mindset of seeing the world in just good and bad.
Goodness, Orphe. You really are a fool. They chose to meet in the Hollow, likely to stay under the radar. Either way, Obol's mission continues. Everyone, we keep pursuing the escaping Exaltists.
Yes, Captain Magus.
Agora. Parol Alma.
Ah. Everyone! The Exaltists, the threat that plagued Waifei Peninsula, have been wiped out under our thunderous assault. Once again, we've brought justice and victory. Give it up for yourselves, soldiers!
And let's hear it for our brilliant commander, Major General Lorenz!
I hate to be that guy, but isn't it a bit early to...
That commander sure seems to be soaking up the chi.
A typical bit.
You're right to be concerned. There are still Exaltist stragglers roaming inside and outside the Hollow. And the Obscura in the city haven't been fully inspected yet.
As far as I know, the key Exaltist leaders are still at large. They've managed to slip away after every encounter so far. The Exaltists will remain a threat until they're eliminated. Even though Mevarok was severely injured by Yishuan Shifu, and the Exaltists suffered heavy losses, there's still no sign of them backing down. Miasma activity is still spreading. Key people like Sarah still hold major influence.
Yishuan, High Preceptor of Yunquai Summit? I've heard the name before.
How come I don't see Colonel Isolde anywhere? As the operations leader, shouldn't she be here to celebrate?
Isolde has been unwell recently, and went back to the city to rest. She's also been absent from meetings over the past few days.
Maybe the commander's like Proxy and isn't fond of these kinds of gatherings. She might have just found an excuse to slip away.
You might be right. That does sound like her. In any case, we've dealt a heavy blow to the Exaltists. And after fighting on the verge of life and death, the soldiers really needed a victory to boost their morale.
That doesn't sound like something our strict Captain Magus would say.
Think of it as me trying to lift everyone's spirits. As soldiers, it is our duty to obey orders. So even when we have doubts, we can't launch
If you take action without orders, you'll be standing trial at a I might not mind, but I'm sure Seed's seen.
I don't want anyone ending up in front of a military tribunal either.
Right. Since it is a military order, the Major's restriction on you...
I understand. Obel Squad and all the other soldiers, everyone should enjoy this hard-earned...
Thank you,
Hell yeah. Not a boy.
Actually, I've already heard about Lucro personally entering the Hollow and the Major General's movements. Besides relocating Porcelumex and the Exaltist stock of Porcelume, they're rounding up trusted members who served under Ferox. including my poor colleagues who fled into the Hollow's labs, fearing a purge. The dust hasn't even settled, yet they're already discarding what they no longer need, proving that the only thing crueler than one ruthless boss is another. I have no place in TOPS any longer, and the Defense Force won't seek justice for a stray like me.
Even though you played a major role in taking down Ferox, your new boss won't tolerate you for long, will he?
Exactly. I can't stand stray dogs like you always sniffing out scraps to survive. Like I ever had a choice. I'm just trying to stay alive. Honestly, I was already planning to turn to you and Yunquei Summit for help. Regardless of our differences, you are among the few in Waifei Peninsula who have the power, care about justice, and are willing to hear me out. A stray like me is used to bowing and begging.
Unfortunately, no matter how much power we might have, we're just as constrained as you are now. I can't contact anyone at Yunquei Summit for assistance either. But if it's to keep you safe...
It's all right. Just when I was at my wit's end, Miss Savior appeared.
Hiya! I'm the savior he was talking about. It's funny, most company employees usually see me as a disaster. Who would have thought I'd ever be called a savior?
Allow me to introduce you. This is Miss Zhao from TOPS, affiliated with the Krampus Compliance Authority.
Nice to meet you, Miss Zhao. The Krampus Compliance Authority. Is that the name of another company within TOPS? It doesn't sound as familiar to me as the other big companies.
That's alright. Most people haven't heard of it. Krampus isn't actually a company. Our role is to inspect, decide on, and enforce regulations. Brutal competition is an inherent flaw of the market system. For the members at the round table, it doesn't matter if the company's executives are tearing each other apart. However, the condition is that all actions by the company and its management must comply with the core rules and interests of the Alliance. The business game doesn't always let us play by the rules. That's the round table's mercy. But when those rule breakers go too far, the strict mother reaches out with her black branch. This time, poor Salumix has clearly stepped out of line.
I think I get why the corporations might see members of Krampus as a disaster. Even so, having regulators like you is probably a key reason TOPS has managed to maintain its strong position in the city.
So, it's not hard for you to understand why I see Miss Zhao as my savior, right?
We'll only know whether I'm your savior or your disaster once all the investigations are complete.
Better than letting someone like Lucro treat you like a fish on a chopping board, right?
Although he's not really a friend, I do have some understanding of the way Damien does things. He's determined to survive this brutal game, but he's also someone who would never cross the line.
Huh. You've got sharp and beautiful eyes. I hope you'll never become the enemy of Krampus. And that when those eyes look at me again, they won't be filled with hostility, Mr. Wise.
Damn.
Soldier Orphe!
You two again? Now you have the proxy as an
It's not what it looks like, Orphe. I had no idea those two were planning to scare you.
Captain Magus is asleep.
Is it time for the captain's self-diagnostic?
Is Orphe more worried about waking the captain or about...
Excuse me! First of all, my concern... Second, the field manual doesn't list lemon-flavored chips under prohibited foods during deployment. I have every right to protest Captain Magus's executive decision to declare all snacks as prohibited.
Oh. Well, then why doesn't Orphe protest when the captain's actually awake?
I'm sure Orphe has her own reasons.
Anyway, if Orphe doesn't want us to tell the captain...
How about sharing some of those lemon...
Seed and Trigger are robbing me again!
Isn't this just a regular part of our night up?
The law doesn't punish the majority, Orphe.
Then, the proxy should...
A special mission to get rid of lemon-flavored chips? Count me in.
Proxy, there's something I need to talk to you about. It's about the captain.
Let me guess. It's something that you can only say when Captain Magus is asleep?
That's right. Proxy, I want to apologize on behalf of the captain for her bad attitude toward you during the mission. But there's a reason why the captain acted that way.
I trust you, Orphe. Just like you trust Captain Magus. Come to think of it, you and Magus make quite the unique team. A soldier paired with an intelligent weapon construct.
An intelligent construct? No, the captain is more than that. Can I trust you, Proxy?
You can trust me, just like how you trust Captain Magus.
I'm just a gunner, a soldier here to support Captain Magus. Orphe, you're being too hard on yourself again. You're special. You're one of a kind. That's how they would comfort me, if Captain Magus and the others were here. But no. I know that I'm not someone special. From the moment I was born, being a gunner has been my sole purpose and mission. In the disaster 11 years ago, New Eridu lost so much. It lost so many of the Defense Force's last remaining gemstone. At the time, the military had launched various research projects. Enhanced soldiers, cybernetic soldiers even. Cloned soldiers. It sounds brutal, doesn't it? But if it weren't for these cruel projects, Obsidian Division might never have lasted this long. I was also born at that time, cloned from a legendary soldier, and designed to aid that legendary soldier as an assistant. That legendary soldier's military codename was Magus. The soldier's original body has long been destroyed. All that remains now is a backup of her consciousness, or what you could call her soul, stored within the weapon. Even in death, she's still wielded as a weapon by the Defense Force. Though Captain Magus always says it's what she wanted, is it really a blessing or a curse? All things considered, I'm quite lucky. Selfish, even. I stole her body, her name. You could even say I stole her life. But Captain Magus has never cared about that. She'd just say to me, Orphe, my life was far too boring. You should live your own life. I know the looks in my comrades' eyes often carry sympathy or pity, mockery, or even disgust. Still, I can't help but feel that I'm lucky. I met Captain Magus, I met Obel Squad, and even crossed paths with someone as strong and interesting as you, Proxy. I know there's nothing special about the way I was born, but you all keep telling me, Orphe, you're being too hard on yourself again. Yet the cold glass tanks, the tasteless nutrient fluids, those eyes filled with sympathy, pity, mockery, or disgust. They all proved one thing. I'm nothing special. They all told me I'm just a pathetic, tragic person.
But
you all keep telling me over and over again, you're one of a kind, Orphe. I can leave those glass tanks in the past. I just don't want to let your expectations down. Rather than those cold, lifeless glass tanks, I want the warmth of Captain Magus. I'd rather have my noisy Obel squad and you, the cool Proxy. Our pasts, whether it's mine or Captain Magus's, are not what define us. Although Captain Magus often jokingly calls you the villain, that's all just talk. Our pasts are not what define us. Instead, it's up to us to determine our destinations. As a Proxy, you'll lead us to the right place. I believe in you, Proxy.
Fairy, have you finished calculating the exact coordinates of the—
Affirmative. HDD data sync complete. Transmitting coordinate.
Wise, finally! The exact coordinates are now locked in. The next step is to move out with Obel.
Negative. Lorenz's forces have currently halted all further operations. Could you send a message to Yixuan Shifu? Actually, scratch that. Better send it to Senior. Just say, Junior Wise needs your help. It's urgent. Please ask he—
Poor Junior Wise is suffering cruel mistreatment at the hands of the Defense Force. It's urgent. Come rescue him quickly. P.S. Stay low-key and avoid—
Aren't you—
We're talking about the safety of Waibei Peninsula here.
All we can do now is pray that Rinquay Summit sends help soon. Who knows what kind of mess the Exaltus might be stirring up in the Hollow, while Lorenz is basking in the limelight. There's no time to waste. I'm logging off now. Huh? I think I just had a dream.
My disciple, Fufu, told me poor Junior Wise is suffering cruel and that I need to stay low and avoid—
Word for word! The message came straight from Junior Wise's— By the way, your dear—
Someone's messing with our junior out there. That's the last straw. Shifu?
What do you mean by step in? Junior Wise just looks a little dazed, that's all. I don't see any—
Did Yixuan Shifu—
Seems you're finally catching on.
Your safety, of course, is our highest priority. But given how you contacted us in such a rush—
Come on, Junior Wise. What happened out there that made you call Shifu for—
That's right. All your—
Cunning as always. Certainly.
If the Defense Force can't deal with those scoundrels, then we will.
Ставим про скупи люди.
No need to be hasty. Let Junior Wise get some proper rest first.
Hand over the proxy!
I was wondering who would break into Swabian Temple in the middle of the night. Turns out it's soldiers from the Defense Force. Please be aware that although Phylum Heights is under military control, soldiers have no right to enter, and my temple isn't exactly a place where anyone can just come and go.
What's all this ramp?
I think what this lady means, Captain, is that you barged into someone's home in the middle of the...
See, Senior said that if this lady is going to beat you up, he
Even with all the Obsidian troops of Wi-Fi Peninsula's support, you probably still couldn't stop me.
High Preceptor Ishwan, this unannounced visit is not meant as a provocation.
Under your protection. You mean the mayor's envoy whose freedom is now being restricted?
The temporary restriction on the proxy's movement is both to protect...
No matter how you look at it, my disciple is safest under my...
Listen, you two. There's something more urgent to...
Proxy, are you okay?
Oh, so the proxy was...
Apologies. This is my mistake. I thought it was the city authorities who took the...
I've never cared about military secrets. Only about the safety of my disciples and the well-being of New Eridu.
Well then, Proxy. If you went so far as to defy military orders to contact Yunquay Summit, I trust you must have had a good reason. You mean you're absolutely certain that the Exaltus still have a real stronghold hidden somewhere in the Hollow?
I can't say I'm completely certain. Not until I enter the Hollow myself and reach those coordinates. But as Guardians of New Eridu, shouldn't Rinquay Summit and the Defense Force investigate, even if there's only the slightest chance of danger?
Wise, I just received an alert from Barry.
According to real-time Hollow monitoring data, ether activity is rising across the entire Lemnian Hollow. Warning. Ether activity across Lemnian Hollow is approaching record-high levels. Warning. At the current rate of Hollow expansion, there is a 17.2% chance that Lemnian Hollow will breach the Zenless limit within 1,026 hours.
What's that voice assistant rambling about this time?
Basically, she's saying that if left unchecked, the Hollow might just go boom.
The Exaltus in charge of miasma research mentioned experiments on large-scale miasma activation. I suspect they're preparing for what they call the final sacrifice. Based on the intelligence and mission results we've seen, the Exaltus control most of the miasma-rich areas in Lemnian Hollow. They've also mastered the technology to manipulate the unique ether. The current rise in ether activity throughout the Hollow is probably connected to the Exaltus operations.
If your theory is true, then this currently
Based on the intelligence and mission results we've seen, the Exaltus control the current rise in ether activity throughout the Hollow is probably connected to the Exaltus operation.
discovered Exaltus base will likely become the central hub for their final sacrifice.
Exactly. But if we can take out their hidden base, the sacrifice ritual won't happen, and the Hollow's rising activity will...
How do you manage to sigh with a mechanical throat like...
Although I tried to ignore some of the seemingly fabricated technical terms. So essentially, we head in, confirm whether any Exaltist rats are still stirring up trouble, and if they are...
Wow, Captain Magus, you actually...
Then let's move out. Ogle Squad will personally eliminate...
But Captain Magus, weren't you just saying an out...
Disobeying orders? Hardly. We were chasing after Phaethon, who fled all the way into the...
Captain Magus, your enthusiasm is truly moving.
It's our duty as the Defense Force to wipe out the Exaltists. If our superior... Besides, the Obscura still haven't been fully examined. If a sacrifice really did emerge from the boxes, then Defense Force soldiers...
I understand. My disciples and I will remain on standby at Phylum Heights and fulfill our...
In that case, the attack plan and the operation start time need to be decided ASAP.
Deploying all of Ogle Squad would draw too much attention. Let's regroup and launch the operation first thing to all members of the Ogle Squad.
Yes, Captain Magus.
Tomorrow's probably going to be a long day.